Look, it's another wall! Welcome back to The Wall, where we take ordinary walls and turn them into works of art. First off, I just want to say thank you for the great response on that first video. I had a lot of fun doing that project, and it was great to hear what you guys thought. If you missed it, go back and check it out. I'll put the link right here. But really excited about today's project for two reasons, really. The first reason is I think it's going to be a little bit easier than that first one. The first one was a little bit complex, but then also I think this one's even more customizable. There's just a lot of ways that you could tweak this design to make it fit your space, your style. So without further ado, today's project is called the Off-Kilter Stud Wall. So if you've ever seen faux stud walls, they look really cool. Basically, you're just putting some kind of 1x or 2x material on top of your drywall, spaced out to look like exposed studs. And it's a really cool effect. You can do a lot with it. But I saw a design that I kind of wanted to play with that is turning those studs sideways, so doing kind of a diagonal pattern, and then also running some perpendicular into that. Let me show you. It's like some cross pieces here, perpendicular there, and then back to here. You're just gonna have to see it. So for the material, I'm gonna be using this 1x2 pine, but if it looks too dramatic, you could use some kind of thin paneling and do the same cuts as me, but it would just be a softer texture and maybe a little more realistic for your space. Alright, so got my handy dandy little wall plan again, and this time instead of doing those infamous chalk lines, I'm gonna go for a little more of a measure as you go approach using a template to keep all my measurements consistent. So I'll install these guys first, these two, and then everything will be based off of those using a spacer template. So that's the plan. Let's get to it.
So to keep things simple, we're gonna cut everything at 45 degrees. And these first two pieces, it really doesn't matter how far apart they are. It's really up to you.
All right, so we got those first two pieces up, and then everything's gonna kind of flow from here. I'm gonna go with a 12-inch spacing between everything. So I went ahead and cut this 12-inch piece of MDF, and you've gotta make sure you don't lose this piece, because you wanna be consistent. So what I always do is put a big T on there for template. And then if you want, you can write a little encouraging message to yourself. You're gonna be looking at it a lot. You know, just a little something to keep you going. What, is that weird?
So since I'm using 8-foot planks, we're obviously gonna have to add some smaller pieces at the top. If you wanted to avoid this step though, you could use longer material.
Okay, so that's all of the 8-foot pieces I can do. Time to start cutting some of the smaller ones. Alright, so you obviously want these as tight as possible, but keep in mind we are going to caulk those joints as well as the nail holes before we paint. Alright, well, got them all up there. Now it's time to do some caulking and then some painting. It's caulk gun time. Sorry. So you could just use the caulk gun and go back with your finger and make the bead, but I found that these little caulking tools are essential. It's basically like a squeegee for your caulk bead. It's gonna give you a really consistent, perfect corner on these edges and just look really sharp.
So depending on your design and materials, caulking around all the edges may not be necessary. But you do want to fill your nail holes and make sure you're using a paintable caulk. Oh, and use a drop cloth before you paint. Seriously, who forgets to use a drop cloth?
So you're gonna use this dark gray color called
Carbonized.
It's a Sherwin-Williams color. I think it's gonna be really classy with this design. Let's see. Ooh.
So decided to paint by hand this time, mostly so I could do this.
So that gives you kind of an idea of what it would look like if you painted it two different colors. Pretty loud pattern, but could be cool. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and start painting the wall though.
A standard paint roller is about 9 inches wide, so keep that in mind as you plan your design.
Ooh, that that looks dark. Now we use this trim brush to get along the edges and the sides, all the little detail spots.
Now, I know it doesn't look like much right now, but just give me a minute.
Okay, what do you think? Cool? Definitely doable, right? And again, the thing I love about this one is you could do any combination of these studs. You could really complicate the pattern, adding some vertical or horizontal or both patterns in there. Possibilities are endless on this one. And like I said before, looking for ideas from you guys. So if you know of a wall or even you've dreamed up a wall, either post a link below or just describe what you're looking for. I'd love to try it. Share this video, comment, like, subscribe, the basics. But more than that, just thank you for watching. Hope it was inspiring. Have a wonderful day.